Coming to you from Aurora, Illinois, it's the DuPage Angling Network.
Hello, DuPage Anglers. This is Marty Rogers, and tonight on the podcast, we're going to talk about an awful lot of things that have been going on in the area, in regards to fishing and other outdoor adventures. Pond Boy, are you there tonight?
Yes, Marty. Good evening. How are you doing? What did you do this weekend? Did you get out?
I got out a lot, but why are you so polite tonight? What happened? Are you okay?
I'm a little aggravated. I live on and near a bunch of private neighborhood ponds, and I keep catching poachers, and they're keeping fish. Granted, it's not posted enough, but it's one thing, sneak into private ponds. I did it when I was younger.
You still do it?
No, I haven't done it in quite some time now that I know what it's like to live on some. But if you're going to do it, don't take the fish out of there. It's just.
You mean they actually had a stringer?
Oh yeah, with bass on them, and the guys are pretty rude. So I called the cops on them. Hopefully the cops got there after, because the guy was giving me a hard time. I'm like, I can show you in the bylaws. It's private. So hopefully that'll be taken care of. But yeah,
well, you'll be okay. You'll be okay.
I'll get over it.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get over it. So you get out this weekend, right?
Yeah,
Sunday?
This weekend it was pretty cool. The fishing wasn't as great as I was hoping, but I was able to take my sister to Des Plaines, and one of my favorite lakes in Des Plaines is Lake Opeka, right there off of, I don't know, Thorndale, I think it is. You know what? I don't remember the road. It's not Thorndale. It's Higgins. But I could post where it is later on the site. But Lake Opeka is right by O'Hare Airport, and it has some very simple shoreline. It's just a man-made embankment that they have, and you can walk around half of the lake because you can only fish on half of it.
Cool.
And for years I've been going there. There are some really, really large bass in there, and you can catch them pretty regularly. But they also have crappies and yellow perch. So we started catching crappies and yellow perch because we decided that we wanted to use a Krabby Bass grub and a Berkeley grub to see which one works the best.
And were you able to figure it out?
Yeah, they're about the same. They're about the same, but I think the Berkeley was a little more, caught a few more just because of the scent aspect of it. That's my opinion.
Right, but that's good about Krabby Bass, though. I mean, it's keeping up with Berkeley,
Oh, I mean, Berkeley's huge.
That's something to be proud of.
And what's really kind of exciting for me, anyway, is that we would get all these hits and all these bites, and we weren't catching anything. So once again, all the short strikers picking at the tail. So I ripped the tail off, and sure enough, we bam, 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 we started catching them. So
was there any size of the perch?
Nah, not really. It was so windy. It was really, really rough fishing, but not like what you caught at Lake Michigan. Now, you went to Lake Michigan on Sunday, right?
Right. Yeah. Before I go into that, I just wanted to let everybody know that if you want to get in on the show, go to DuPageAngler.com. In the right-hand corner, you'll see a chat box. You can chat in questions if you would like, and you can always call in. The number is 630-447-9104. Yeah, so for Sunday, M. Kala, DuPage member M. Kala, gives me a call, and he's like, I hired a guy to go perch fishing on the lake. He can't go with me. Why don't you come with? I'm like, you know what? It's different. You know me. I like to try different species. And I haven't fished on the lakefront for perch, man, since I was a kid. Maybe 13 at the oldest. So it's been a long time. We used to power line out there. So we get there, and it was supposed to be pretty hot. So we had high expectations, and we got out there, and it was tough. I mean, it really was tough. And I was a little disappointed at first. Some of the fish were small, and we weren't getting on them. But the guide that we used, his name is Ralph Steiger, real nice guy. And what I liked about him is, even though the bite was, he's like, we are staying out here until we get some fish. So we only had a half day. We were out there for like 6.5, 7 hours.
Oh wow!
And we were just slow trolling these little, like they're like almost like Danny spinners, except they have Aberdeen hooks on them. Just tipped with soft shell crabs. Are going about anywhere from 2 miles per hour to 1.2 miles per hour, anywhere from 11 feet to 15 feet of water. We're over by Navy Pier, and we just just hanging these things out, and we caught a bunch of small ones, but we didn't get our. If we would have kept all the small ones, we would have had a limit, obviously, but we wanted eaters, so we only kept 20 fish, but I caught the biggest perch I ever caught, which was like about 14. M. Collie kicked my butt on big fish, man. He got a lot more big fish than me. I had him on numbers, but he had me on size, so he got a kick out of that, and it was a really good time. It's not hard to do. So if you live near the lake and you have a boat, I guess just chat in. Did I fillet him? The cool part about this guy, Ralph's Guide Service, is at the end of the day, he cleans them for you. Because I don't keep fish. I almost never do, except for salmon and trout, or if I'm up in Canada. But since, we had them, and Kala was keeping them, I took a bag for myself, and they're already clean for me. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll take some. So I haven't had them yet. They're in the freezer. Me and the wife are planning on having them one night this week.
Oh, wow. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was a great time, and the guy does, he does a lot of other things. He does lake trout, salmon, smallmouth, and we had talked about almost changing gears and going for smallmouth, but the bite was slow, so we didn't do it.
I love smallmouth fishing on Lake Michigan. When you find a decent spot, like all the way up by Winthrop Harbor, it is incredible. And I have a friend that has a slip up in Winthrop Harbor, and it is so much fun going around those rocks. And I always seem to do, pretty well with any type of crankbait or even smaller rattle traps do well. So I do want to hit Lake Michigan Smallies real soon.
Oh yeah, it was just cool to be on a different body of water and for a species that I don't usually get a chance for, So it's kind of cool that lake that you went to in Des Plaines has the yellow perch. I think that's pretty neat. And,
yeah, there are a lot of fish. It's Lake Opeka, and it's very family friendly, very family friendly. And you should check it out sometime.
Oh, I definitely will. I was out. The topwater bite's been on really hot, Marty. Fluke has been crushing them on buzzbaits. Sooner and Crankin' King have both been using frogs. I've been throwing poppers, hula poppers. I found, and I heard you did pretty good with topwater.
Oh my God, I went.
Was that tonight?
Yeah, well, yes, and let's face it, we didn't catch a whole lot because we kind of got a late start on this that I'm about to tell you about. But P. Woody texted me today and said, I got to get out of here. Let's go fishing. So anyway, we went to the Fox River, and it was absolutely horrible. I mean, the water was way up. It was just raging, and it wasn't good. So what we did was we hauled butt back to Aurora and went to one of my favorite spots. And I tied on a lure that I've had in my box for a long time and never really used it. And it was that Copper's Life Target walking frog.
That's a nice bait.
Oh, my God. I tied that son of a gun on it, and the bite was not really good. And I tied that on, and I walked it across the pond, and, nothing. So P. Woody starts talking to me, and that frog is just out there. He's just out there in the middle, right? While I'm talking to him. All of a sudden, and he hits it out in the middle of the pond. And I'm like, oh, man. So I land that one, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to do that again. So I cast it out there, and I brought it in, and it was about 6 inches from shore, and I just had it sitting there. Once again, me, I'm always talking. The bass hits about 6 inches from shore, right in front of me. Right in front of, and it stopped my heart. And that was when I was telling P. Woody, I have high blood pressure, and my doctor told me, he goes, you got to stop doing topwater because it gets me so excited when they hit like on those big lures, and I get all excited. My blood pressure goes through the roof. But it definitely was fun. We didn't catch a whole lot, but the ones we did were extremely exciting because they hit very hard. They love to hit hard this time of year.
Crankin' King just chatted, and he says Wilkes has landed 4 or 5, maybe 4 or maybe 5 on a custom painted popper. Yeah, topwater is on. Me and Sooner took our kayaks to a small lake last night, and that's all he was throwing was a frog. He got about 10 fish. He threw a worm for a while, but he was just into the topwater bite. I threw speaking, how much is you're talking about that live target? What is that? Like $12 on sale?
It's on sale for $11.99, and you can click on the Bass Tackle Depot icon on the site and get it. And
well, take this, Mr. Man. I was at Walmart, and they had this bargain bin, and they had all these lures on sale for 25 cents. I spent $6 and got 24 lures, and I bought 3 of these little baby-sized hula poppers that are in a leopard frog pattern, and I caught 2 fish on those last night with Sooner. And I got on to fish thick. I was just throwing a 4-inch power worm finesse drig, and it was a really, really weedy lake. So I was just going over the top of these weeds and then dropping it down in the pockets. I'm not without exaggeration, I had between 20 and 30 fish, and my largest was, most of them are around 14 and a half, which is a really nice average size. Sooner missed a big one. I had one bust me off, and my biggest I had was 19, and I lost another big fish on the jump. But it was a lot of fun.
Was that local? Was it pretty close to your house?
I'd say about a half hour, 35 minutes away, but it was still worth the drive. That's for sure.
That was great. Oh, speaking of busting off, today, P. Woody was using one of his favorite lures. It was a bomber crankbait and square bill, and he loves it, and he's just talking about it. All of a sudden, he's reeling it in, kind of dancing it a little bit. All of a sudden, his rod just stops. It was a big-ass fish that hit it, right? All of a sudden, everything's gone. Lure, everything's gone. It's just gone.
Yeah, sometimes I can't explain that, especially like when you're using braid. You know you have a good polymer knot tied, and you set the hook, and it just breaks instantly. So is that fish that big? You know what I'm saying, Marty? To just bust your line instantly without even being able to feel it? And it happens a few times a year, and I don't know why. And that's always perplexed me. How that happens is just the right amount of pressure.
The only time that really happens to me is if a pike hits it and you don't have a leader or something like that, or he had a really bad knot. But I don't think he did. He was using that lure, quite often.
I've had it with good knots. They're bass. I know they're bass. And I just don't know why it happens. But, Crank and King just typed in, it's probably abrasions online. That could be it for sure. Now, you had talked about the Fox, Marty. You're right, it is up and running. Darkstar calls it crazy fast at 2,000 CFS. Right now, it's at 3640. So that it is cruising. The DuPage is up to 137. I like it under 100 at minimum to go out there. So the rivers are way up. Now, even with the rivers way up, Crank and King went out a couple mornings, and he got, he looks like he just woke up, but he got one really nice smallie. So they're still there. You just got to, like we talked about in the spring, when they're, in flooded conditions, you just got to find those pockets and try to pull them out.
I got to interject here because I am going to mention that bass that Crank and King lost again, okay? Because the reason I'm going to mention this is because I saw it with my own eyes and this and that, right? Well, P. Woody and I were at the exact same spot today, okay? And this guy, we talked about, he came by, he's fishing and everything, really cool dude. And we were talking about the site and all that, and he goes, "Oh, you want to see what I caught here about a week ago?" Or whatever it was, and he shows his phone. Dan, this smallmouth that he caught exactly, where Crank and King lost his, was massive. It was huge. I mean, I don't know how much it weighed. He doesn't know how much it weighed, but it was by far the biggest smallie I've ever seen. And I'm even talking from EAS's smallies. The biggest Fox River smallie I've ever seen. Yes. And sure enough, it was in the spot where Crank and King lost his. I go, oh, God, I can't wait to tell him. But anyway, he's going to be joining the site, so he's going to post a picture of it.
Now, a couple guys have been crushing smallies, and it wasn't in the area, but it's still pretty cool. Paul S., he went up to Michigan. You can tell it was a little cold because he's in